Tom DeLonge was right all along.
Disclosure.
Bodies in freezers, bodies underground.
Disclosure.
They lied to protect us from the truth they found.
Disclosure.
History isn't what we were taught.
Disclosure.
It's an IQ test for all humanity.
Disclosure.
With technology that leapt overnight,
Disclosure.
Trump will bring the truth to light.
Disclosure.
The dam is breaking now.
Disclosure.
Any day now.
Disclosure.
Just around the corner.
Disclosure.
Since 1947.
Disclosure.
If you're hearing this, well done. You found a way to connect to the internet. Welcome to the QAA podcast, episode 353. I'm over disclosure. As always, we are your hosts, Jake Rockatansky,
Brad Abrahams,
Travis View,
and Julian Field.
You know me. I'm the UFO guy. I've been enraptured by this subject since I was just a small Canadian boy. While I take a skeptical approach, I'm no cynic. I'd go as far as to consider myself a believer. I'm stumped by some specific cases like the Socorro saucer, covered in the Spectral Voyager, and the Ariel School phenomenon. I think there are just too many sightings and first-hand experiences to ignore, even if 99% of them end up being explainable. But I have a confession. Even though I'm best known for my film Love and Saucers about an ET experiencer, I don't like watching UFO documentaries, particularly in the TV format. There are a select few I'd recommend, but we'll talk about the film landscape later.
Oh, wait, you don't like to see, the same 5 bizarre-looking old men, in a room talking and just cut between them endlessly?
That's one of the reasons.
You don't like seeing that same black and white footage of a chapeau, gently rotating in the air over and over again?
Yeah, Brad can only watch Ancient Aliens. Everything else is too boring hair-wise. He needs sucralose.
Well, the reasons I avoid them are legion. They tend to be more advocacy than cinema, about proving a particular case or phenomena. I just don't find the approach interesting or compelling.
Yeah, they're, really insecure. That's the problem. It's so insecure and,
Yeah.
desperate. It's just kind of Jesus, guys, come on.
Yeah, they're usually formulaic and predictable, and most recently, they're just always about the subject of disclosure, that the powers that be are just about to reveal the grand secret in any moment. But because of this identity foisted upon me, whenever there's a new congressional hearing or bombshell report or documentary, I'm invariably asked about it. And the truth is, I just don't care. I'm over with disclosure. This year, though, a UFO film has risen above the ever-swelling heap. A film so big, I can't ignore it.
See, this is the problem with our modern times, that we have more alien footage than ever, more UFO footage than ever. There's more talk than ever, more movies being made, all sorts of artists' ideas about what an alien might look like, some better than others. And here we are, bored out of our skulls. We don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. If they were to announce tomorrow that, guys, it's real, there's a galactic council, and we've been interfacing with them for the last 50 years, I would go, wow, the craziest person on the internet was right. I get my mail here. The crazy people on the internet being somehow right about, it's just, I don't know. Maybe things have become so dire, so weird, so violent, so dark that something that seems like a positive advancement for the human species is just another buzzing of flies around my head and just discussions.
And this is supposed to be the fun stuff.
They've ruined even the good stuff now.
The age of disclosure.
March is a chaotic month in my hometown of Austin, Texas. There are music events, the rodeo, the Moto Grand Prix, and of course, one of the biggest film, music, and tech fests in the USA, South by Southwest. It was the latter that a certain documentary was getting an outsized amount of buzz. The fact alone that a documentary was grabbing headlines alongside world premieres featuring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, Paul Rudd, Pedro Pascal, Nicole Kidman, and Austin's own vacant-stared patron saint Matthew McConaughey. The film was premiering at the Paramount Theater, one of the best and biggest venues in the city, and all 1,200 seats were filled. Even stranger were the special guests at the screening. They included U.S. congressmen, renowned scientists and academics, a former Navy admiral, a NASA administrator, CIA operatives and intelligence directors, and fighter pilots. As you've gathered by now, the film is the age of disclosure. The tagline on the poster read,
See the film they don't want you to see.
Considering the buzz, the venue, and the special guests, I found this to be more than a little disingenuous. The official synopsis reads,
Featuring 34 U.S. government insiders, this explosive documentary reveals an 80-year global cover-up of non-human intelligent life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer advanced technology of non-human origin.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. It was directed by Dan Farah, most known for having produced the Steven Spielberg film Ready Player One. He also helmed MTV's fantasy series, The Shannara Chronicles, which starred a young Austin Butler. His production company currently has deals with Warner Brothers and Universal Pictures. In interviews, Farah said his goal was to create
one of the most effective tools for helping make the public aware of the truth and helping Congress get the government to take the topic more seriously.
Farah wasn't the only high-pedigreed professional involved. It was edited by Oscar-nominated Spencer Averick, composed by the accomplished Blair Mowat, and executive produced by Shara Senderoff, a Forbes 30 under 30 tech entrepreneur.
We gotta stop letting these tech people get their fingers in the movie business. It's no good. It's no good. They're coming in with bad energy, bad motives.
It seemed to come out of nowhere, made in secret, with all private investors and no disclosed budget. The trailer quickly garnered millions of views, and alongside with the South by Southwest buzz, scored a limited theatrical run before landing exclusively on Amazon Prime just a few weeks ago, where you can rent it for $20 or buy it for $25. It soon became the highest-grossing documentary of all time on the platform.
Oh.
Yeah, for 8 days, it remained the best-selling movie in all genres, beating out Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, Jurassic World Rebirth, Tron Ares, Weapons, and the latest Mission Impossible.
Jesus.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
It's so boring. I started playing on my phone like 15 minutes into it. It really was. Like, I was like kind of listening to it in the background, and I sort of sat up when they talked about the time-space bubble and stuff. And I was like, oh, you got any evidence of that? And it was like, oh, no, it's back to the guy against the chalkboard. Every time they come up with something interesting, there's no NASA specialist for that. It's a guy.
Yeah.
It's a guy at a board with a, checking things off that he's written. And he's not even wearing a suit. He's in like a fucking V-neck t-shirt with like reverse male pattern balding. We'll get into all of it. This was like my first comment to Brad as I was going through this.
The film industry is in a tailspin, with documentaries being the hardest hit. So this accomplishment is really quite incredible. If nothing else, the film is a commercial hit. But the review landscape, however, has been mixed. It's currently sitting at a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes, though it has a 93% audience score. The New York Times said,
Anyone who sits through its nearly 2 hours of unprovable claims is a chump. Damn. Calling me out.
But on the flip side, Oliver Stone called it
monumental, a once-in-a-generation cultural flashpoint.
No, stop listening to your son. Oh, it's like fucking trickle pilledness.
Like, there's definitely guys that when they're doing the bad graphic of gravity bending around the craft are like standing up from their soiled couches, being like, they're actually talking about it. They're actually talking about the gravity fields. Like, I think you have to be like. I think you have to already know everything that's going to be mentioned in the movie to enjoy it.
Well, I sort of think the opposite, but we'll get more into the critical reception later and how it's been received in the UFO community. But first, I just wanted to ask what you guys thought about the film, like big picture, just big picture. I know, Jake, you said it was boring. What about you, Travis?
I thought that I felt like it was like technically well produced for a documentary in the sense that they got interesting like sets sometimes, and it was well lit, and then like there was some movie music in the background as people talked.
Movie music
that wasn't able to make up for like the dull subject matter.
What about you, Julian?
I would say that this movie should have been about 4 minutes long. and all that footage would have been shit I had already seen on fucking TV or whatever.
Sure, yeah, a trailer basically.
Yeah,
Just show me the
yeah.
fucking weird little black dots. Stop being like, stop. It's like the whole technique is like you get like someone who's like believable, like and kind of serious and maybe famous, and you know it looks like kind of fancy, and he goes, well, it would be, you know, it would be a form of hubris to think that we're the only, you know, 300 million galaxies, that we're the only form of life in the universe. And then they just cut to a guy who I would never trust with anything. And he's like, they've been here for thousands of years. Like, I'm actually friends with them.
Yeah, they essentially cut to like Beaker and Benson from the
Yeah.
Muppets who are like, they've already been here for hundreds of years.
Also, what is this format of getting two of these weird guys?
No, I liked that. Yeah, no,
At the same
liked
time,
it.
ups the ante.
like the walrus looking guy, like the turtle guy is like talking, and the walrus guy is just like kind of doing like I don't know, like weird like glitching, like he's just kind of, his mouth is kind of slurping and he's just kind of twitching. It's just, I mean, I'm sorry, man, like these guys, like if you believe these guys, then I've got a wallet to inspect.
Well, I'm going to start with some positive feedback. You know, similar to what Travis said, I think compared to many documentaries, especially in the paranormal like Gaia world, I think it's well put together. You know, production values are slick.
Sure.
It's well lit. The interviews look kind of high fidelity. It's like good from a technical standpoint. And it's definitely, in a way, the most elaborately credentialed UFO doc so far.
But as I said to you guys in chat, like it doesn't work on QAA hosts and QAA listeners, I think too, because we know better than anybody else that it doesn't matter like what level of power you're behind the levers at. You know, it doesn't matter like what your military ranking is or like how pressed your suit is. Like you can believe in some dumb crazy shit. Like your credentials are irrelevant to your beliefs.
I also think like you know, you can really, I mean, first of all, so many people serve in the military. There's going to be a decent percent of them that are just insane, right? Like that's just like just fucking like population statistics. And so it's like I don't really give a shit that this guy, I mean, if anything, it's like, yeah, maybe the cannons on his ship like were too loud and they fucked up his brain. Like it's not like, oh, you're a Navy guy? Oh wow, then I should really listen to you.
Yeah.
But also like there's nothing new here. I'm so sorry. Like
Yeah.
we have the new footage, which is interesting. It was released on fucking television by the government. We have access to it. We've seen it a million times. The rest is literally just gussed up Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens has like more than a dozen fucking seasons at this point. And it's the same thing. It's the same bullshit. They just don't do the ancient astronauts say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Ancient Aliens disguised as like a 60-minute special.
Yeah, and it's 2 hours long. It's like
long.
it's painful how long it is, and 90% of that is just talking heads. It's just like a man in a giant Victorian home that they've rented, and they've just kind of filled each room with a little man sitting in a chair in the middle of it. Which often looks like extremely like comically awkward how small they look in frame.
Especially if you're in a deep V-neck with lots of tats and stuff. I don't know. It's just I think what's his name, Elizondo.
Oh.
Elizondo. I don't know. I don't mean to be like prejudiced or anything, but I just don't think he's just if he wants to come, I don't know, dress up a little bit like the other guys. I don't know.
It's his personal style.
I know.
Whatever, dude. Like, don't judge him, you know? I mean, it's like the
I'm sorry.
few
I'm dressed
hours,
like shit right
it's the
now.
few hours of the day that he's not on Sniffies looking for a cum dump.
Wow.
I don't even know what that means. I knew you were going to go somewhere with it, but I was like, I don't even know what that means.
It's
but
better
I'm sure,
we don't.
I'm
We
sure
don't know what it
some
I can
people
explain
do.
Sniffies to you guys, you know?
Oh,
Okay, so you know Grinder?
Please don't. No, please.
Well,
no.
Grinder looks conservative next to Sniffies. Sniffies is like guys being like, yo, my door's open, this is my address, I'm gonna be face down on my bed, and I know no loads refused.
all right.
Sniffies, but Sniffy sounds like a cartoon
I know.
friend that you know that would be teaching you to brush your teeth.
Travis
and
is
stuff.
about to just disappear. He's going to dematerialize.
Travis is gonna have to generate his own gravity field
His warp bubble.
space-time warp
Yeah.
out of this podcast.
Travis, you can find out which public restrooms have glory holes. What do you mean? It's very useful.
Well, aside from the talking head footage, the other 10% is B-roll of the various figures just walking around the Capitol buildings. And then, like Julian said, the same like 3 leaked UAP videos we've seen 1,000 times.
You have to have one piece of new footage
Yeah.
for a 2-hour movie.
Show me a fucking ship up close. Show me a ship up close, and show me a body. Until then, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, and I think unlike what Jake said, I think this is squarely aimed at the noobs, like people that just haven't seen any of this or haven't heard of any of the information. Because for us who like have like at least, you know, cursory awareness, it's just, you know, nothing's new. It makes us fall asleep.
I would much rather rewatch Stan Romanek's self-made documentary. At least there's a good twist.
I don't get I don't get that reference.
Oh, he's a like guy who claims he's in constant contact with aliens, and all his proof is amazing. It's like just like a doll, like an alien doll, like peeking out his window.
I love it. Yeah.
And then like halfway through the movie, you know, he's like, I've got 900 and I don't know how much proof. Like all these are proofs. And then halfway through the movie, he's like, people are accusing me of being a pedophile. But this is actually, and you're like, what? And it turns out he's accused of like molesting a child. And like,
Oh, boy.
so halfway through this UFO movie, he just kicks into like defense mode, but like it comes out of nowhere. And it's very fucking crazy.
A different type of disclosure.
It's actually a great movie because when the twist comes, it's like your jaw is to the ground because he spends so long in the movie trying to be like, and this is why I'm not the pedophile. They keep calling me that I've been told
God.
in court that I am.
This is like the MUFON director who they found all the kitty porn on his computer, and he was like, oh, they put it there.
Yeah, who did? NASA.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that the government has the capabilities to put whatever it wants on whatever
Don't
computer.
take the way you're doing.
Wait, Jake is trying to say that.
He's trying to buy into the cover story.
You're rehabilitating these.
Jake, defense lawyer for the pedophiles.
I'm just saying, like, they could put whatever. They could put Zumbinis on there. You know, it's not like, you know.
They put Zumbinis on your computer?
They could put it on there. I'm sure they could. They've got that kind of tech.
I mean, they'd need like a floppy disk and there's all kinds.
No, you can get it on.
Don't keep talking about Zumbinis. Nobody knows.
That's it.
The Disclosure Industrial Complex.
The film's marketing leads with just how credentialed the participants are. And the film itself starts with a barrage of these bona fides.
I spent 11 years in the U.S. Navy as a fighter pilot.
For 18 years, I flew fighters for the United States Navy.
I spent 20 years working in the U.S. intelligence community.
I served as the 4th Director of National Intelligence.
I spent 25 years as a senior official with the CIA.
I retired from the Navy as a 1-star admiral after 32 years of service.
I worked on highly classified UAP programs for the government as a senior scientist.
I spent 32 years in and out of government in national security.
I worked 28 years as an astrophysicist on highly classified UAP programs for the United States government and for the defense industry.
I'm a professor in the Department of Pathology at Stanford University School of Medicine.
And I've been president 3 times in a row. And look at me, not the smartest grand in the tool shed. Okay.
I mean, I love that they're listing like things that like would at the very least make them evil, and then I'm supposed to also believe that you're not dumb. Like, I don't know, man.
Not included there are several sitting U.S. Congress people and senators, including the film's biggest prize, Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Marco Rubio. We've also got James Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence under Obama, Christopher Miller, Acting Secretary of Defense under Trump, Christopher Mellon, Deputy Assistant Director of Defense for Intelligence under Clinton and George W. Bush, Dem Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Republican Senator Mike Rounds, Solid Snake Congressman Dan Crenshaw, Tennessee Rep Tim Burchett, who sells UFO merch online, the conspiratorial Florida Rep Anna Paulina Luna, Navy Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, Navy Commander and pilots David Fravor and Ryan Graves, and many, many more. So it gives the audience a clear message of who the filmmakers see as the most trustworthy and reliable sources to elevate. And it's also a fairly bipartisan group, UFOs being one of the last domains that bring people across the aisle.
Mm-hmm. But it's still the most pilled of each, you know, of each pool. You know.
Paulina Luna, yeah.
There are a couple, I think, too many clips of Chuck Schumer being like, my great friend Harry Reid would be looking down from heaven, smiling upon all the disclosure that we're doing.
From the disclosure world, we have most of the greatest hits. The most prominently featured subject, also the film's narrator and executive producer, is Lou Elizondo, former Army counterintelligence, claimed director, which the Pentagon disputes, of AATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, and To the Stars Academy, or TTSA, founding member. He also owns an aviation-themed bar in Wyoming called Bombshells and has his own bourbon.
The government straight up is like, this guy was never the director of anything. Like, he might as well, like,
Yes.
just like a fucking liar.
That's the problem with the doc. That's my main problem with the doc is about halfway through I started to wonder who Lou Elizondo really is, and I started to go, I think this is a guy who just kind of shows up. Like, I think he just showed up and started like doing this. I don't think that like he's not up in the planes with the guys.
I've seen this guy's name come up on Reddit, and it was like a lot of like UFO enthusiasts being like, this guy's a fucking quack and a liar.
He just kind of seems like the Zach Baggins of UFO disclosure,
A little bit, yeah.
No offense, Zach. I still watch your show.
The second most featured is Jay Stratton, former Defense Intelligence Agency and director of the UAP Task Force, as well as another executive producer on the film. Next up is my personal favorite, Stanford PhD physicist Hal Puthoff, who ran the CIA's remote viewing program, Project Stargate, for 20 years and is also a TTSA co-founder.
Amazing.
As an aside, Puthoff achieved Scientology's OT Level 7, the highest available in 1971, and claimed this OT level gains remote viewing skills. About 14 accomplished Scientologists worked in the Stargate program. The more you know.
So, like, he knows all about how, the aliens who seeded Earth. So, that's obviously, that makes him even more credentialed.
I would love to work in, like, the slime department in the CIA. Like, just some department where they're like, test this slime to see if you can, like, travel interdimensionally with it somehow. I'd be like, all right.
And we also have the Bunsen to his beaker, which is the incredibly accomplished PhD astrophysicist Eric Davis, whose scientific legitimacy often contrasts with his bombastic claims about aliens. He was Robert Bigelow's chief scientist, and Bigelow himself is another worthy rabbit hole.
I knew they were talking about Bigelow when they were like, I was approached by so-and-so and a representative from an aerospace company. I'm like, oh, it's Bigelow for sure. These guys, he's still trying to live forever.
Yeah, and Davis was also one of the Skinwalker Ranch researchers.
Yeah, one guy that really surprised me among all the heads was just how fucked up like James Clapper looks.
Sure.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
He really is fading, and he's like, he was like in like the Spygate stuff. Like he was a relevant figure. He was the head of the fucking CIA, and now he's like, I don't know, sundowning. I mean, I guess a lot of American.
I mean, he's really old.
Like leadership is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they have to retire, is because they start to sundown. That's what gets them out of office.
I think they also get, it's a lot of forever chemical exposure they get into at all the bases. And then there's Gary Nolan, a lauded Stanford immunology professor with an incredible resume of discoveries and inventions. He claims to have analyzed brain scans of UAP experiencers and found anomalies. He also gives the probability as 100% that extraterrestrials have not only visited Earth, but have been visiting for a long time.
Why are we doing probability then? Just say it's a fact. Like
100%.
Let me tell you in numbers so you understand. Out of 100, it's 100.
Yeah. If you got the saucer landing, and you've got the guy coming out of it and shaking hands with military personnel at the base, just show us the video of that.
Exactly.
Give us something.
But people will go, oh, it's AI. That's what I'm saying, is that disclosure, like, Brad, you're right. Like, disclosure is over. It doesn't matter, because you could show people a real video of an extraterrestrial, like, shaking hands with military-based personnel or whatever, and there would be a group of people that go, it's here, disclosure is here. There would be another group of people that go, it's AI, and then there would be another group of people that go, oh, it's a real alien, but it's actually from a world that's not ours. There's a mirror planet in a different star system that that is slightly ahead of, it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's just, reality is, I don't know.
I think what's so interesting too is like, listen, if you press these guys, they would believe in so much other weird shit that has happened for like the last, 50 years, right? Like stuff that's been debunked. Like they clearly would have no credibility if they actually laid out what they believed before those little dots came out in the fucking videos.
Yeah, Lou Elizondo at some like UFO conference, he showed a photo of like a purported alien mothership, and it was just like a reflection of a ceiling fan in a window.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God.
Most of these people have been founding members or intimately involved with the To the Stars Academy, though its most recognizable figure, Blink-182's Tom DeLonge, is not only completely absent from the film, he's not even name-checked. So I guess like a former rock star doesn't fit into the whole national security milieu.
No. They wanted people in suits and like,
Yeah.
in universities. Yeah, this is not the vibe.
Except for Lou. So for those that need a refresher, TTSA released the original Navy UAP video to the New York Times and functioned as a sort of launch vehicle for the whole disclosure narrative. And it promised the development of breakthrough technologies reverse engineered from UAPs. Most of the serious members left years ago, and now it's a merchandise and entertainment company with a $37 million deficit. DeLonge now sells guitars with meteorites in them and made a B-movie.
Man, just stick to doing Blink stuff. Even their latest album was dope. I love Blink. I've loved, continue to love, and will love Blink 182. I even like Tom DeLonge's like spin-off group Boxcar Racer. I don't know if
I wouldn't know.
They came out, they only had one album, but it's fucking if you're remotely interested in Blink or pop punk like in that 90s era, that Boxcar Racer album is really fucking good too.
What about Weezer? Do you like them?
No, let's not do this, Julian. Come on, don't set him up.
Well, I mean, I literally have like a Rivers quote, like a guitar, like a surf rock blue like Fender with the lightning strap. Literally, just
does it have a meteorite in it?
No, no. That doesn't. Come on. I mean, tell me, what does it do? Will it make me better? Is it like Kevin Garnett in Uncut Gems? Like, if I get the guitar, can I finally play better with my right hand?
That's the idea. Yeah. There are many, many more people featured in the film, but I'm sure I'm already testing everyone's patience. Another of the many asides, though, often when they introduce a new subject, they show archival photos of them in a war-torn country in full tactical gear, brandishing fully automatic weaponry, or shaking hands with a former or sitting president. After this cavalcade of credentials, we get another montage of these same people making the most shocking of claims.
I've come to the conclusion that we are not only not alone in the universe, but we have been discovered by an intelligence from some other part of the universe.
There's evidence we are not alone.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species in the universe.
We're not alone in the universe.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human.
They are here. This is real. It's happening now.
We are not the only intelligent life form in the universe. There's something here on the planet with us that is intelligent and more intelligent than us.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
There's something here. There's something what? Like under the ground, like War of the Worlds?
So it's one thing to muse about other intelligent life in the universe, which is something I think most people would agree on, but it's another thing to say it with this amount of certainty. There's a similar snowballing to how the claims and evidence are presented. There's sightings and encounters with UAPs that are unexplained. Again, not a big leap. The next claim is that these UAPs are confirmed non-human intelligence. Again, not too controversial, like if only even as a hypothesis. Then it's that these UAPs have crashed and we've recovered them. So big, if true, still no evidence. But then a whole other leap to the claim that we're reverse engineering this technology. And then lastly, the claim that bodies have been recovered from the crafts.
Mm-hmm. And if we listen to the Reddit poster from last week, those bodies are just avatars that the aliens can jack into to interact with life down here without, putting themselves at risk.
Yeah.
It's really funny because, I was thinking about, the tone of the interviews, what makes them kind of so boring. And what it makes them so boring is that these guys have said this thing probably 1,000 times.
Yeah.
They don't have any enthusiasm. They know it's nothing new.
Dead
it's
inside.
just new footage. Let's put it all. But there's this weird, kind of shaky, tired insecurity that just does not lead you on a ride to something cool.
They hit it home 3 too many times each time they do one of these montages.
Oh yeah. It's it's just so clear that their grandkids have fought them on this for hours at the dinner table. It's just oh, well, okay, I guess I'll say the thing I say.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also this idea that you should believe these guys because they've all carried guns at some point. We have photographs of them with guns, in official conflicts.
Yeah.
That's what makes them trustworthy is that they're military combatant. As if that's, as if there isn't heaps of evidence to the contrary, that being in a combat situation or even going through boot camp can have devastating psychological impacts on people.
Exactly.
Not only that, but the American military is sloppy and stupid, and a lot of the wars that they've fought in recent history, they've completely botched. I wouldn't call these people necessarily smarter because they did this stuff. The only idea is maybe I was in the plane and I saw the dots, but nobody's saying that. None of them are the dot seers. Bring us the dot seers.
Well, they're saying They're saying that a black cube inside a bubble went between a formation of fighter jets, and that one of the guys, I guess, got cooked from the inside.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
So-
Let's fucking who cares, right? You can just say shit.
Yeah.
Other claims include UAPs having activated and deactivated nuclear weapons in both the US and Russia.
Oh, that is one of I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Yeah.
This is the most insane claim ever made.
There's videos I've seen of it with the little beam hitting the head of the nuke or whatever.
Yeah, and that defense contractors serve as custodians to shield materials from FOIA requests. The film does not present any new classified or declassified evidence, no more clear photographs or footage that we haven't already seen, or any physical evidence whatsoever. So just pure rehash.
Oh man,
shit.
they should have gotten Palmer Lucky to like back some of this
Right.
stuff, you know? A really trustworthy guy. Get him
Yeah.
up there with the fucking Hawaiian shirt and his horrible little fucking soul patch.
They do constantly insist that like America is ready for the truth. They're ready. They're ready.
Yes.
Like over and over and again. It's like it's a foregone conclusion that like this is all true.
Yes, it's like America should be taken off the stove. It smells burned.
No, America. I don't know. I guess like there's this narrative thread that like the only reason that this isn't being, I guess, revealed in a more explicit manner is because like there's a cabal of people who think that America just isn't ready for it.
And they do make sure to mention that, especially Beaker and Bunsen, the two scientist guys, that they're like, if you saw the classifieds, like we can't show you any of that, but trust us, if we walked you into the OT7 room, you would be like, oh, of course aliens are real.
Yeah, we could just remote view the evidence.
These guys who like, if you just leave them in the seat and don't interact with them, they probably kind of just go catatonic. Like their eyes are milky. I am almost convinced they're from a different species. They look insane.
That guy, Hal puts off like he's like 97.
Yeah, Hal put off.
I remember, speaking of 97 and needing to interact with it to keep it alive. I remember visiting my beloved grandfather in at his like assisted living facility, and this was when cell phones were everybody had the big rectangles in their pockets, and at one point during the visit, my grandfather, and he's like a smart guy, a real scientist. He goes, "Tell me, do you have to keep interacting with it or it'll turn off?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Will the phones turn off if you stop using them? Because I see everybody using them all the time." So he was like genuinely curious about the tech. He was like, everybody's constantly on them. Do they stop working if you don't sort of keep your finger on the screen? He was like genuinely asking.
I love that. That's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
As Jake knows, into movies, every hero needs a villain, and they introduce theirs right off the bat. The Legacy program.
Yes, this is the deep state, yes.
Yeah. Here's Lou setting it up.
This program was so sensitive that it was withheld from the Secretary of Defense, Congress, and even the President of the United States. This program is referred to as the Legacy program. This program had been capturing, retrieving, and reverse engineering UAPs since at least 1947. On numerous occasions, these retrievals included the bodies of non-humans, some sort of intelligent being that is not human. When Jay and I began knocking on doors and trying to get access into the Legacy program, there was this almost like an immune response by the Legacy program, and antibodies came out of everywhere to try to shut us down.
That all means nothing. That doesn't mean anything. None of that means anything.
Once again, a bar owner whose only credential is disputed by the very fucking organization that he claims to belong to as a director of some sort.
I love it.
And then what the fuck is knocking on doors? We're just knocking. Oh.
Yeah, we started knocking on doors, all sorts of antibodies.
Yeah, I'm just Mulder. I'm going through the dark corridors of the secret alien secrets lab, and I'm just like, hello, is someone in there? This one's locked. Fuck. What the fuck are you talking? And they love, this is every conspiracy theorist, every fucking guy.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole system came out, and we were over the target because they got so alarmed. Give me one example.
Yeah, these are guys who are like standing in 7-Eleven and they look out in the parking lot and they go, "Was that black pickup here when we pulled up?" And the other guy goes, "I don't think so." And then they're like, two Slurpees, please. And a pack of Parliament lights. And they're like, the guy's like, okay, and they get it and they're like, oh, the truck's gone. And they're like, that's weird. And then the other guy goes, yeah, they're following us. Like, and then they go into the documentary and go like, everybody came out of the woodwork coming after us. These are people that are imagining their reality and then reporting it to documentarians as, oh God.
Yeah, if I was a documentarian, I'd be like, well, surely you have like a sternly worded letter or a fucking story about like how, I don't know, like someone came to threaten you, but they have nothing. They literally just say the thing and then there's what documentarian wouldn't follow up for some kind of proof of like a harassment campaign?
Yeah, when somebody comes like, when people come out of the woodwork to silence you, you're like, it was two guys. They were wearing tracksuits. They showed up at around 8 a.m. It's not like, and the antibodies started fighting we were the virus. What are you talking about? Like, this isn't a post. I don't know. It's just.
I think they just mean like guys on Reddit that they think are CIA that are just like, that sounds stupid.
Yeah.
He continues in more detail.
The main players in the legacy program have long been the Central Intelligence Agency, the United States Air Force, the Department of Energy, and major defense contractors. The Central Intelligence Agency is responsible for the oversight of the overall effort. You might think of them as a little bit as a headquarters element. The United States Air Force is responsible for field operations. These are the folks that are responsible for deploying within moments' notice anywhere in the world to go secure and retrieve crashed UAP.
You have the ex-director of the CIA.
Exactly.
You have people in all of the departments you're saying are doing the cover-up.
Every single one, yes.
Why can't they just like say, hey, I saw the cover-up?
Because like Clapper is like falling asleep in the chair, being like, I think it's time for a change.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, they don't even, that's the thing is, again, like, Clapper's not a guy who makes claims. Clapper's the guy that they go out, he's the director of the CIA, and he goes, oh, well, there's probably life in the universe. And that's all he says. And then they cut to fucking Doofus and Dorcas, like, who are half fucking asleep and somehow are in the same shot, sitting like kind of like too far apart from each other. Like the whole thing is so awkward.
Another topic brought up fairly early on is the trend, particularly among conservative circles, of the phenomena being biblically demonic in origin. Thankfully, this documentary takes a more grounded position here, via Lou and Jay Stratton.
There really were religious fundamentalist extremists within the Pentagon that had a severe adversity to this topic.
These are national security experts, senior members of the national intelligence community who are putting their religion above national security.
A senior DOD official actually stopped me in the hallways in the Pentagon and told me that we were doing the devil's work.
I had to deal with people who were senior to me who were telling me in their world that these are demons and we are poking demons and messing in Satan's world and all these other things that to me, I was like, I can't believe this is coming out of your mouth.
Now that I believe.
Yeah.
Americans, like, they always, their pants fall down and they crap themselves. It's always like, yeah, we're doing alien stuff. It's like, you know what else? Angels, demons, God. It's like, I mean, it's so funny. They can't help themselves. Like they everything has to be connected to like some Christian cosmology.
Yeah. But just as quickly, the threat, as this film sees it, is made abundantly clear. The most high-profile voices in the film, Rubio, Gillibrand, and James Clapper, make their pitch.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours, and we don't know whose it is. That alone, just that statement alone, deserves inquiry, deserves attention, deserves focus.
If you have objects in the sky that you cannot identify, that's a problem because it could be China, it could be Russia, it could be any adversary.
Well, any unexplained phenomenon could pose a national security threat. That's the way you have to treat those things.
It's like, yeah, here's where it's like very clear. It's like, and so in conclusion, we are invading Venezuela.
And potentially like any other, if there is life, if we do find life and interact with it out there, like we're gonna like let the military take over. It's like abundantly clear that most of the documentary is about like we're learning about this because like we need to figure out like if we can kill it.
Yeah.
Well, also it's a very good distraction from a variety of things falling apart.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like it's so funny because it's like, okay, so you're saying that those little like black dots that like can move like no other flight, like no other plane that you have ever seen. You're telling me the Chinese and the Russians have those? Then just give up.
Exactly.
Like, you're fucked. Like you're fucked. They're literally like hundreds of years in the future from you.
Congressmen and Senators Mike Gallagher, Mike Rounds, and Dan Crenshaw double down.
Well, Dan Crenshaw kind of singled down.
There's something violating our airspace. There's something fouling our ranges that even the people we've tasked in the executive branch to understand this cannot provide an explanation. So I would say, in addition to the national security implications, this has implications for basic trust and confidence in the American government.
We just simply don't know the origin of the phenomenon. And we're going to try to get to the bottom of it because for national defense purposes, some of these have been in areas that we train. These have been in areas where we've got some of our best equipment, and yet our best equipment has not been able to tag these things. We've not been able to go in and catch them.
No matter what they are, they're invading our airspace, and we don't know exactly why they're doing it, what their intent is, and what their capabilities are.
They've done nothing bad to us, and we are scared.
And I think that's the only, like, 10 seconds that Crenshaw is in the entire film, too.
Yeah.
And with that, the thesis of the film is made abundantly clear. The most important aspect of the phenomena is that they're a national security threat, need to be taken seriously because of this, and this alone.
That's so embarrassing that it's literally just propaganda.
Yep. And that, you know, obviously makes me immediately skeptical because it creates a basis for even more national security funding and to just extend this mystery indefinitely rather than disclose it.
Yeah, you need to give us one example of like anything bad or any actualized threat. If it's just like, you might be describing the floaters in your eyeballs.
And I really, I don't know if the filmmakers themselves truly believe this or they just think it's the best way to get the attention of decision makers. But to me, it's just a profound lack of imagination and a lack of wonder. Because it's like, I don't think that's why people are interested in UFOs, like, because they're a threat. It's because of, like, they're weird. They shatter conventions and paradigms. They open up our consciousness. But this film, they're just literally like a boogeyman to be scared of.
It's very funny because it's like, look at those things.
Yeah.
They could, if they wanted to fuck you up, they are so much faster and like you can't track them. You can barely understand what they are. Surely if they wanted to do something bad, they would have done it by now. I mean, it's so crazy. It's just like, yo, they're gumming up our fucking shooting ranges and shit. We can't even fucking discharge rounds anymore. And we can't do nuclear tests anymore and poison everybody.
And then I feel like they give away the whole game with this next clip.
China is at the top of everybody's list of concern right now in the Defense Department.
Some of this UAP activity we are seeing here in the United States may actually be a result of a Chinese UAP reverse engineering program.
If Xi Jinping had access to this, if Putin had access to this, and they thought that we did not have access to similar capabilities in what they did, do you think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
And if their approach to it is driven by science and a desire to match what they think is ours, we'll wake up one day and realize, I don't know how they got there, but they got there ahead of us, and now we're screwed.
Bro, once again, you have 800 foreign military bases. China has one in Djibouti. What are you fucking on about? The China, like, these are like dogs. They're so stupid. They're like dogs that get scared by their own reflection.
I don't know. It's America's falling behind in the warp drive technology development race.
They're falling behind in like the building rail for your people and like lifting people out of poverty. And like, it pisses off the Americans so much. They're like, oh, they're doing bad stuff in fucking in Africa. And then you're like, you look into it and it's like, oh, they're giving like 0% interest loans to like African countries. Oh man, China, dangerous, terrifying.
Ontological shock.
Let's get back to the interesting stuff, the UAPs themselves. The film breaks from the usual format and has Lou standing at a blackboard. He goes through the 5 observables common across UAP sightings. Here are the first batch.
When he did this, I just yelled, Glenn Beck!
Everything observed can be categorized by 5 distinct performance characteristics. At AATIP, we call these the observables. The first observable is hypersonic velocity. Our current fastest aircraft can go roughly 4,600 miles per hour. However, the UAP we are observing are traveling at 40,000 miles per hour and sometimes faster. The next observable is instantaneous acceleration, a sudden change in velocity. At full speed, the SR-71, known as a Blackbird, requires roughly half the state of Ohio to complete its turn. What we are seeing with UAP are vehicles that can make immediate right-angle turns, instantaneously accelerating and stopping on a dime. The next observable is low observability. All modern technology have a signature. For example, most aircraft leave visible contrails as they fly. We usually hear a sonic boom associated with the sound barrier being broken. UAP, however, leave almost no observable signatures. The next observable is trans-medium travel. UAP have been observed operating in space, in air, and underwater, and they are moving seamlessly through each of these environments without any normal signature and without compromising performance.
Hey, Lou, are you done in there? You done doing your video thing? Because somebody puked in one of the bathroom stalls, and the Budweiser keg is empty.
Yeah, a couple of the grips brought their Quest 3s. They want to clear out the ballroom and do a little VR.
Great LARPing going on.
He kind of has a baby Trump vibe. What do you think, Travis?
Ooh, well, I think it's just the extremely tight black t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the kind of like clearly loves to drink, but is kind of like weirdly bloated, but also works out. Like there's this just like type, like it's like bar owner, like kooky bar owner vibes and body type.
And here's the second batch with a surprise and more shocking sixth observable.
The next observable is anti-gravity. UAP seem to be defying the natural effects of Earth's gravity without any obvious means of doing so. No signs of propulsion or lift, meaning no wings, no control surfaces or ability to maneuver. There's actually a sixth observable, which is not a flight characteristic. That is biological effects.
The fifth element.
I got started working on this actually in this office. There was a knock at the door, and two individuals who represented themselves as being with the CIA and an aerospace company came to me and asked for my help. They had data of military personnel, intelligence officials, and others associated with the Department of Defense who had direct interactions with UAP, and because of that direct interaction, suffered some kind of medical harm. They wanted my help to look at the so-called inflammatory secondary events that might be measured in the blood. Anything from the horrific burns that I've seen on some of the individuals that leads to secondary problems with autoimmune diseases and sclerosis, et cetera. And then the internal scarring that I've seen on some individuals, these people had scarring inside of their bodies and inside of their brains.
Oh, God. Oh, the Pleiadians have a Havana syndrome, Ray. Oh, God.
It's like, seems obvious these are just like soldiers that have been mistreated or poisoned in some way. And then the Air Force is like, yeah, it was UAPs that did this.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because it's like, okay, time to talk about the craft and to describe very specific aspects of craft. Let's not bring in any of the Air Force guys. We're going to have a bar owner who's a liar and then an immunologist. Like, I'm sorry. It's really weird. You have Air Force guys. Like, why aren't they talking about it? Maybe because it ain't true, bitch. You got to get the kook in there to say this shit, you know? Like, you don't even have the guy who saw the dots. This is so embarrassing.
Also, if we've been interacting with UAPs and retrieving crash stuff, even if it was the legacy guys, for decades and decades, like since the 1950s, like there'd be way more stories about this. I think also we would probably like have some of the tech. Like if we can't figure it out from 1947, whenever the Roswell crash was, to 2025, and we got this big documentary where they're like, and it's about to come out right now. But they've been doing this forever. Like disclosure is no longer, like they've changed the terminology. Disclosure is no longer the reveal of, definitive proof that there's life on other planets and that we've been visited by it, but it's the infinite edging of about it, it's about to be revealed. And some people are, they're a little bit more in the know than others, I guess.
Yeah, they literally saw like a few extra video scenes, which by the way you trust the government suddenly. So the government reveals something and suddenly you're like, oh, of course, great. This is absolutely proof. But also you really shouldn't like blow your whole load over this because you don't have enough. You don't have enough to like fully claim this, but they're so desperate. They're so thirsty for anything that they're just like, okay, we'll run the footage. The footage is interesting. And then we'll just have like liars like invent shit.
Just how the UAPs are able to perform these mystical feats has been a mystery until now. For a documentary criticized as not bringing any new information or evidence to the table, a scientific breakthrough is hypothesized.
For decades, our government assumed there must be different exotic technologies responsible for each of the observables. But our scientists realized one breakthrough technology could actually be responsible for everything.
With enough energy, you could create a bubble, a warp bubble, around a spacecraft that would have a different property of space-time inside the bubble than on the outside of the bubble.
So it's basically, the theory is just that there's a magic bubble around the crafts that can do anything.
Oh, if we had this, like, we would have sent it to fucking Israel to kill Palestinian children.
It is insane that these guys all got around. They were like, all of this evidence, we've had it for 60, 70 years almost, and still none of it makes sense. How do they move? We don't have a clue as to what could be the answer to all of the, broken mathematics that we're trying to apply, to what we're observing and the data that we are collecting. And eventually some guy just went, what if it was like a time-space bubble?
Have you guys seen The Jetsons?
Like he watched like The Island or whatever, or what's the old movie where the guy gets put in the bubble? I'm blanking on it. Maybe it's not The Island. It's something different.
The Prisoner?
Yeah, The Prisoner, exactly.
I mean, yeah, it seems like their theory is like, what if the craft make a space around them in which the laws of physics don't apply?
That's pretty much it. And their crack scientists are just those two guys.
It's so awesome because there are legit people, and they were like, oh, cool, I got interviewed for this documentary, and then they put it on and they were watching them make these claims, and like, I was the Air Force guy. Why didn't they this is all bullshit.
This is like me anytime I'm out anywhere and I observe anything. Like, and I'll be like, oh, Starbucks is closed today. I'll be like, oh, maybe they get a, it's just like anytime you try to explain something that you have zero, there's no way you know what it is. No way you know what it is, but you've got an answer for it. I feel it's like it's the same. It's just like the same instinct.
Yeah. They continue on the bubble.
This energy field would completely isolate the craft from the environment. And we observe hypersonic velocity and instantaneous acceleration. And the reason is that time is moving differently for people inside the bubble versus people outside the bubble. Whoever's inside the craft would feel like they're just cruising along. They wouldn't be feeling the effects of what looks like speeds and accelerations that would turn a human being into pudding. This one breakthrough can be the key to interstellar travel.
To everything.
Where you observe transmedium travel because the craft is moving within its own space-time, and the outside environment through which it's moving is inconsequential. This would allow a craft to go seamlessly from space through the atmosphere and into the water.
UAPs have exhibited propulsive performance characteristics that imply the generation of 1,100 billion watts of power. This is more than 100 times the daily electrical utility power generated in the U.S.
Let that sink in. 100 times the daily power generation of the entire nation.
Wow.
Oh, well, there's a pudding in the bubble. The bubble was a human pudding, and let that sink in, something I just made up.
So the bubble stuff might have made me laugh, but I also at least found it like fun and a little bit interesting, and wished like most of the doc was just about this type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully there's a little bit more like this perplexing question from Hal Puthoff.
One of the questions is often raised, if they're so advanced, why are there crashes? But of course, I mean, cars are well made and people drive them carefully, but there are crashes. It can happen. Another option that's being considered is that maybe some of these were not, quote, really crashes, but that they were left here for us to examine in order to advance our technology forward at a faster pace. So in that sense, they can be seen as gifts from a more intelligent species.
We need to give a field test to the aliens and see if make them blow into the because maybe some of them are drunk.
I mean, it is a genuinely thought-provoking question, but that doesn't get explored at all further than that. Like, it's just those, 20 seconds. If they're so advanced, why would they crash? Well, let's move on.
It's like, well, people crash all the time.
Also, we have no proof of the crashes. You're asking a question based on another thing that you can't provide any evidence for. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, they're 8 rhetorical questions into having accepted that the bubble exists and that all this Star Trek gobbledygook is true, and that there are crashes. Not any point of these do we have any proof.
No. They also muse on the nature of the non-human intelligence, again, too briefly, and seem to settle on extraterrestrial.
How interesting. It's like the ancient astronaut theorists are kind of interested in ancient astronauts.
We don't know if the non-human intelligence that is already here is exclusively extraterrestrial or perhaps some sort of cryptoterrestrial.
Some people who are into the physics of time travel think, well, maybe they're time travelers.
Even some sort of proto-human that somehow branched off from the human family tree long ago and is as natural to this planet as we are.
Some ancient civilization that's sequestered away somewhere on the Earth or on the seabed.
You know, it's just guys riffing, you know?
The bubble popped because there was a Bigfoot was in the bubble, a cryptid was in the bubble, and he got restless leg syndrome, and he popped the bubble.
Whatever they are, though, key figures in the film seem certain that multiple races are here, and some of the most far-out claims in the documentary, courtesy again of Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis, are Bunsen and Beaker.
The intelligence officials that have briefed on these crash retrievals have talked about a number of different species having been observed to be associated with the crash. The bodies recovered are not all the same time.
I'm aware of at least 2 advanced non-human species, one of which made contact with the Legacy Crash Retrieval Program, the other of which the bodies were recovered by the Crash Retrieval Program in various crashes. Few private conversations with former President George Herbert Walker Bush in 2003, and he informed me that there were a number of crash retrievals that had taken place since the mid-1940s. And he also informed me of a UAP event that took place at Holloman Air Force Base in 1964, where 3 UAPs approached the Air Force Base. One of them landed on the tarmac, and a non-human entity deboarded the craft that landed and interacted with uniformed Air Force and civilian CIA personnel.
Oh, thanks for letting us know. Yeah.
See, to me, the only difference between this and like a crazy guy's video on YouTube is that they'll just go on to say, and that guy was Ubak from the Pleiadian star system, and he's been visiting for, like, they just take that extra step and tell you what the 2 races are, who they are, how long we've been interacting with them. Like, that's where this stops, and I think maybe, Brad, it's what you and I find so infuriating about it is just, if you're going to say, yes, I know of 2 of the different races of aliens, just go on to say it's the Neblox and the, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, just go on and finish it. Like, why say 2, but then not reveal who it is? Is that the classified? Well, you know, I just don't understand, you know, where disclosure sort of begins. What are we actually, it seems like the things that remain classified are the things that would make everybody without a doubt go, yes, this is real.
Exactly.
Instead of fucking, you know, hacking and back and forth like we are on this show.
And, you know, all of that just brings up the major criticism of the documentary, which is that very few people featured in it, almost none, have actually seen anything firsthand. It's just accounts that they've been told by other people or photos that they've seen or videos that they've been shown, with the exception of Fravor and Graves, who both had encounters while piloting. But there's only one small scene that features eyewitness accounts. And again, these are all like military personnel, but it's one of the more compelling parts of the doc, I thought, where they go through like all the sightings at the Air Force bases. Here's Terry Lovelace, retired Air Force, with his sighting on Whiteman Air Force Base.
The captain was just looking up with his mouth open, and I look up and I see this object right over the missile launch tube, multifaceted, matte, black, finished, an oddly shaped diamond. Absolutely silent, made no noise. There was no means of propulsion, 50 feet up in the air, sitting absolutely still. And it was amazing. And we kind of looked at one another, and we were just human beings witnessing something extraordinary. And while we're watching this thing, it went from dead still, and it shot off toward the horizon and was gone. Absolutely instant acceleration.
See, that's the, you know, that sense of wonder that I'm looking for when people have experienced something, but there's like literally just like three shots or scenes where someone's actually experienced that. And surprisingly, like very little time is devoted to why these beings are here, which is another huge question. And their only reasoning is that since detonating atomic bombs, that we've just become a potential threat, and they've been assessing us as a threat. I want to take it back to our boy Lou Elizondo and his credentials. This gets murky, so stay with me. Back in 2008, the late Senator Harry Reid funneled $22 million for UFO research, which went to his friend and donor Robert Bigelow's own aerospace company. That contract was called AAWWSAP, or Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Applications Program, with Lou assigned to it as a counterintelligence officer. Lou says he then directed a Pentagon follow-up program called AATIP, or the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The Pentagon says AATIP was just a brief internal effort to figure out what AAWWSAP had been, and that far from being the director, Elizondo had no responsibilities in it whatsoever. Elizondo says this was a character assassination attempt.
As we continue to make progress, a very powerful disinformation campaign began. This effort was to destroy my reputation and credibility. Full stop.
They actually told the American people that Lou Elizondo did not work there, and that was an outright lie.
My family and I suffered greatly for it. I mean, all you have in your life is really your credibility and your word. It's heartbreaking.
That is not true in a post-2016 Earth. You don't have to have your word or your credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go very far.
I guess we'll never really know, but according to Lou, this character assassination may turn into a real assassination. And here's the tense moment near the end of the film where he explains this.
I remember one evening, I was sitting with my wife on the front porch, and I received a call. I recognized the voice of a friend of mine, and he happened to be one of staffers on the Hill, and he was very shooken up and said, listen, we had a very interesting meeting on the Hill, and an extremely senior person in the U.S. government, in the intelligence community, told Congress, for the record, that there was a committee of 27 individuals, and I'm not going to go into code names here, that were mulling over the idea of using extreme measures to silence David and myself, kill us. Now people say, oh, come on, that's conspiracy. No, it's not. We have done it before. Under certain circumstances, we have killed Americans without due process. If they are a clear and present national security threat, we can kill Americans. Now, it's not done very often, but we can. Without a fair trial, they just disappear, right? So here I am. If I wind up in a month from now floating in the Potomac somewhere, you know what happened. You know what happened. This is the truth. What else you want to know?
What else do you want to know?
Dude, it's just, I want to know why you're following me in this bar from table to table. Leave me alone.
I mean, you're right. It's like, yeah, this bullshit, it does follow just the same arc of like every kook is that like I have something to reveal. The only reason people are pushing back on me is because it's so explosive and what I'm saying is the truth and I'm not suicidal and like they're gonna kill me. It's like, but it's slick. It's just the exact same narrative as every other kook, but it's higher production values than a guy ranting on the street.
I think like when you get a guy like this in a documentary, you should also assemble the rest of his family and they get to interact with him.
I think we're more likely to see Age of Disclosure 2 than we are to see anything happen to our boy.
Yeah. There's one last clip of Lou I'd like to share that played out somewhat early in the film. To me, it's very revealing. It's a mindset and motivation common among the subjects we cover in this podcast.
During one of my routine hellish commutes back home, as I was stuck in traffic, looking in front of me and behind me and seeing thousands of cars, I had this profound sense of isolation, a feeling I had never felt before in my life, a feeling that I was completely alone. I might as well have been living on the dark side of the moon. None of these people around me, in fact, no one anywhere, had any idea of what was actually going on around them. Not a clue. I thought to myself, these individuals deserve to know the truth. The mere fact that we're not alone in the universe. How can any one organization, institution, religion, or government control that, or censor that, or gatekeep that? No one has the right to keep fundamental truths away from the American people and humanity.
Hey, Lou, tell that story where you're in traffic.
Yeah. You know, it's just that same old story that these people are, you know, they and they alone are the keepers of some secret knowledge, and they alone can get the word out and change the world. If only people like aren't, you know, trying to foil him at every turn.
Do you remember that Tom Cruise interview on Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah.
Where he's like losing his shit. There's one line that I'll never forget where he's like, well, sometimes I'm like driving and I see like, you know, like a crash and, you know, someone just crashed and I just go, they don't know. Like I'm the only one who like knows and can like help. And it's like, What the fuck are you talking about, you Scientologist insane person?
To be fair, Tom Cruise has pulled over at car wrecks and helped people out of the crash.
Well, so has Werner Herzog, apparently.
Yeah, he didn't fucking use his, like, I went clear powers or whatever the fuck. He's
no,
talking
no,
about
he just pulled over on his motorcycle or something.
Yeah, well, good for him. But
Yeah, or
he's
landed
not
his plane or something like that.
Yeah, but he's not a magical being that has like went clear in Scientology and like understands the like metaphysical nature of the universe.
Man, he looks great for 75.
I'm kind of tired. I honestly, we need to retire this bitch. I know he's Mr. Movies, but like, dude, the latest few fucking Mission Impossibles were shit.
Well, that's why Age of Disclosure made more money than it on Amazon Prime.
Oh, no shit?
Yes.
Yeah, Age of Disclosure is crushing right now. The homies are talking about it. I have a group chat of like my non-podcast friends who are all like, have you guys seen it? Have you listened to the Rogan episode with the director? It's even better than the movie itself. I mean, it's just...
Oh, wow. I've got a good clip from that later.
Oh, fantastic.
Have you seen it? It's got that that annoying, shitty congressman with the eye patch, and there's a Rubio who's a psycho.
Meanwhile, I'm like, guys, Call of Duty is actually a good shooter this year. Like, don't read online like it's fun. You guys should come play it with me. And they don't believe me. Like, they believe that, they believe this guy, but they don't believe their own friend that they're going to have a fun time in a game.
Have you unlocked the Marco Rubio skin?
No, but I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing other people in that skin, if you know what I mean.
I think that Rubio should be sent to Venezuela first if we're doing an invasion. You should be like the forward troop or whatever, like do scouting, do recon.
There's that great quote from Contact where it's like, well, if it's just us, it'd be an awfully big waste of time. And I kind of feel the same thing about Disclosure. It's like, well, if there are aliens, you spent an awfully long waste of time not finding them. Come on, where are the fucking bodies? Give me an up-close pic of the ship. Let me see the language. Let me see the Stargate. It's hard for me to believe that all we have are these, grainy videos from, of a thing going 40,000 miles per hour, and we're zoomed in from, barely at the edge of the atmosphere in one of our spy planes, and that's kind of the best we got. And then just dots in the sky, lights, okay, they're a triangle, okay, they're a star, okay, they're a circle, okay, they're gone. I don't know. I believe in aliens. I've seen a UFO. I believe that I've seen a UFO. I am an experiencer, and I still think this doc is bad.
Yep.
Speaking of Cruise, you're doing pre-crime for angry Patreon comments.
Age of Deception.
The film lays bare an unavoidable hypocrisy at the heart of this movement. The central selling point is that all these witnesses are military, intelligence, and government officials, and that's supposed to lend some kind of credibility. But at the same time, they're saying this same intelligence community that allegedly ran 8 decades of deception is now trusted when individuals from that community claim that deception exists.
I just had the vision of what if Bernie Sanders was in this movie?
Oh, that would be
it would
incredible.
be so awesome. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
You were like, if they've advanced as far as they have, it's clear that they have found a way to get along with each other politically and start taking care of the poorest in their society. Clearly, they have advanced to he could use it to push he could be a better Dem socialist.
Be amazing.
Yeah.
There is no 1%. These aliens don't have that.
They're all cobalt.
It's they're kind of structured like the Smurfs. They all help each other. The main Smurf has a red hat like Karl Marx, and there's one woman, and you gotta share her too.
And many of them are also wearing big shoes.
I am troubled by the resemblance of Gargamel to a Jewish caricature.
A somewhat sobering critique comes from an unlikely source, the OG disclosure advocate and possible real-life reptilian, Stephen Greer, who calls the film Age of Deception and has tried to organize a boycott of it.
Unsuccessfully, apparently.
Yeah.
The main thing that people need to understand is it's been done by people who are operatives for the cabal that have been keeping this secret for 80 years. This film is really a hijacking attempt to hijack disclosure into a false narrative that presents it as a threat. If you see through this movie, over and over and over again, they keep harping on the national security threat. Well, where is that coming from? If the ETs were a threat, we would have had our clock cleaned the day the atomic bomb exploded in 1945. So the fact is there's no evidence that they have attacked us. There's every evidence we've been attacking them.
Oh, cool. These guys sound smarter and like more attached to reality than anybody in the documentary.
Yeah.
Great. These are the QAnon guys on YouTube, correct? Awesome. That's what I thought. Thanks.
Well, there's two layers here, right? Like, obviously, this is yesterday's it girl being jelly.
Yeah.
But then also, like, Stephen Greer's insane. Like, the things he's claimed are insane. But he's right. He's totally fucking
it's
right.
the broken clock, situation.
Yeah,
here.
why would you fucking trust the government? They have the ex-head of the CIA, and it's like, this is going to reveal everything. There's a cabal. You literally have the head of the fucking the organization that you claim was like the fucking center of the cabal, and he's just like, wow, well, I'm falling asleep a little bit. I will say that I.
He's
think
like, am I right? Or I specifically asked for black licorice.
Like, I'm sorry, if I was the maker of the movie and I knew that I was going to claim the CIA is the center of the cover-up, why would I have the ex-director?
Yeah, the whole point would be leading up to the final. You would do it for Netflix as a series, first of all, binge it. And the final episode would be leading up to you cornering the director, and you kind of make it look like it's behind the camera. And you're like, Director Clapper, do you have knowledge? And he's like, I shit my pants. And you're like, Director Clapper, do you have knowledge? And he's like, Susan, they're harassing me, or whatever, like some kind of off-camera confrontation, like what's the one with the guy who admitted he murdered all the people while he was taking a piss?
Oh, yeah,
Durst.
awesome.
The Jinx. Yeah.
I killed them all, of course.
Come on. Like, you need Clapper getting helped into a bathroom, hearing like horrible sounds of diarrhea, and then him going, we've got all the ships, of course.
Yeah. We need that like naked gun scene. But also, like, it's so funny because it's like Clapper, like his only contribution, right? Okay, so like I guess he adds pedigree, right? He is the ex-director of the CIA. So if you're just looking for high up people that make it look credible, he is a good person to use. But then the only thing he says is like, I guess like what any dumbass would say, like,
there's intelligent life.
There's a lot of like space out there we don't really understand, and the chances are probably pretty high. And then keep in mind, this is a guy who has like directly ordered and overseen the like assassination of like probably thousands of people, a lot of them innocent. Like, this man is like haunted, and you're bringing him on to be like, well, the universe is a wondrous place. And now we're going to cut to Hitler to tell us about how vast these galaxies really are.
I mean, we all have a past, Julian.
That's so
He's
true.
like Polly. He's like Polly when he goes to the medium and she sees all the ghosts around him of the people that he's murdered.
Yeah, and like you killed someone with like a brain worm from like water. So I know about your past, pal.
He's talking to Brad, by the way, not me. I haven't killed him. I am responsible for 0 deaths.
Very defensive. Now I kind of suspect you as well.
Greer also threw some backhanded shade at the director, Dan Farah.
I don't think the director, to be honest with you, Dan Farah, who I met with for many hours some years ago, I would say was not very astute. And I think he's being used by people who he thinks would know what they're talking about. Again, I don't think that Mr. Farah, who, as I said, is not very astute, I think he saw an opportunity to make a film with people with credentials, and he seized it and he did it, which is okay. I mean, he's Hollywood. He's not a scientist. He's not an investigator, and he's a money guy. He's a money person. So that I understand. It's not hard to figure that motivation out. It's very Philistine. It's your typical LA Hollywood money grubbing scene.
I've been doing this my whole life. I've been doing this my whole life. I default on my loan every month. I can't pay alimony. This guy comes along and makes a bunch of money. God damn it.
Millions, yeah. Back to my critique. There's a real historical precedence here that should raise a lot of red flags for people. In the 1980s, Richard Doty, a special agent for the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, ran operations specifically designed to manipulate people talking about UFOs. His most documented target was, of course, Paul Benowitz, an electronics businessman who'd been monitoring signals near Kirtland Air Force Base. Rather than simply denying anything unusual was happening, Doty fed Benowitz fabricated documents, fake photographs, and elaborate stories about underground alien bases and human-alien cooperation.
On the unsavory side, he wasn't trapped and was a teenager and had Down syndrome.
Yeah. The goal was to discredit him so thoroughly that anything he might have legitimately observed about classified military programs would be dismissed as the ravings of a UFO nut. It worked, and tragically Benowitz suffered a mental breakdown and was hospitalized. Doty also fed disinformation to William Moore, author of the Roswell incident, who later admitted at a 1989 MUFON conference that he'd knowingly spread false information in exchange for supposed insider access.
And then he explained that the government put that on my computer.
Yeah, the infamous Majestic 12 documents, which shaped UFO conspiracy culture for decades, trace directly back to Doty as well.
Isn't there like kind of documented moments in history where like some of these intelligence agencies pushed UFO stuff?
Oh yeah, that's this pretty much and more. So ridiculously, Richard Doty is now a disclosure advocate himself. And so he co-authored a book called Exempt from Disclosure and has repositioned himself as someone revealing government UFO secrets, the real secrets. The same man who destroyed a researcher's sanity through deliberate fabrication now wants people to believe him. The CIA also openly admitted it used UFO mythology to hide classified programs. So according to declassified documents, over half of all UFO reports from the 50s to the 60s were actually sightings of now known spy planes. And they preferred the public believing it was spacecraft over knowing about, real reconnaissance flights. Which brings me back to the Stars Academy. In interviews, Tom DeLonge described his pitch to the government insiders as thus.
I went and explained to them the military-industrial complex has been painted in a very bad light over the years. I can help change these perceptions and even help with plausible deniability as the information I was given slowly trickled forward. Listen, if you admit that the aliens are real, I will help you cover up the mass graves in Palestine.
Exactly. The Defense News website, the War Zone's analysis of To the Stars Academy was stark.
DeLonge is either lying and his company can't be trusted, or dark areas of the military-industrial complex had a direct hand in its founding.
I promise I'm not lying.
Additionally, what's his age again?
And my company can't be trusted. I can't even do the pen.
You're losing it.
You know what he is? He's like the dumb, evil version of like Roger Waters.
Yes.
Where it's like he just like took a fucking detour from like music, but Roger did it for good. And this guy is like, I will literally help like the military industrial complex if I can look right for a moment.
Mm-hmm. TTSA's founding board are almost all former counterintelligence officials. Jim Semivan, 25 years in the CIA. Hal Puthoff, former NSA. Elizondo, counterintelligence background. Chris Mellon, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence. These are all the same people now featured prominently in Age of Disclosure. Sean Kirkpatrick, the first director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, said this about the whole situation before resigning.
In many respects, the narrative is a textbook example of circular reporting, with each person relaying what they heard, but the information often ultimately being sourced to the same small group of individuals. During a full-scale, year-long investigation, AARO discovered a few things, and none were about aliens. This narrative has been simmering for years and is largely an outgrowth of AATIP, which was heavily influenced by a group of individuals associated with paranormal research.
So basically, like, what if Scully didn't exist and they put Mulder in like the broom closet with just that one "I Want to Believe" poster?
Kirkpatrick goes on to describe what intelligence professionals call a self-licking ice cream cone.
Oh, hell yeah.
A closed ecosystem where the same small network generates claims, validates each other's claims, and then cites those validations as independent confirmation, which is like a perfect sum up of this movie.
I actually removed 2 of my ribs to become a self-licking ice cream cone.
There are also financial incentives, of course. Elizondo has a book deal, a bourbon company, and speaking fees, and now an executive producer credit. Jay Stratton has a memoir for sale, as well as an executive producer credit. Mellon sits on aerospace advisory boards, and everyone's got a podcast appearance fee.
Oh.
Now, none of this means these people are lying, but it does mean that a perpetual mystery is more profitable than solving it.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't have any firm evidence, but I'm going to just say these people are lying.
The national security framing is equally as convenient. If UAPs are an existential threat, that justifies more funding and more secrecy. The disclosure movement and the military-industrial complex it claims to oppose are completely aligned when it comes to financial interests.
Dude, if we ever meet the aliens, it's going to be so fun. It's going to be like when the ships first arrived in North America and they thought it was India and they're like, who are you guys? And they're like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, cool, you're Indians. This is the same thing. They're going to be like, oh, so what are you? It's like, oh, well, I am a Pleiadian third generation. You mean Chinese?
Let's ask ourselves a question. If elements within the intelligence community wanted to manipulate public perception through a UFO narrative for whatever reason, what would that look like? Probably like this. Former intelligence and military officials suddenly becoming disclosure advocates, information released through non-governmental channels with quote-unquote plausible deniability, claims that can never be verified because evidence remains classified, a network of credentialed figures who validate each other's claims, media partners who report claims completely uncritically, congressional allies who hold hearings but never obtain actual evidence, perpetual promise of imminent disclosure that never quite arrives, and a national security framing that justifies increased defense spending. So, I'm being unkind, but this sounds exactly like the age of disclosure.
I think why this doesn't work on us is because we've extensively studied a highly ranked guy who was the head of JSOC, a multiple starred general who believed in fucking QAnon.
Right.
So you can't tell me that any of these things matter. These guys can be as dumb as your drunk neighbor.
Yep. Recently, even the film's most lauded participant has downplayed his role and how he's represented in the film. Here's little Marco Rubio on Hannity.
Get his ass. Get his ass. Little Marco Rubio.
Gotta ask you, there's a show that's come out, it's called The Age of Disclosure.
Yeah.
Okay, I know everyone probably, right? Everyone asks you about it?
Sure.
It's a new documentary. We had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities. It's not ours, and presidents operate on a need-to-know basis.
Yeah.
Okay, that is...
So a couple points on it. First of all, I'm not disavowing that. It was an interview that was done almost maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I was in the Senate.
Right.
So it wasn't recent. The second point I would make, I was describing the allegations that people have come forward with. They would come forward and say that there were programs in the U.S. government that not even presidents were made aware of. So I was describing what people had said to me, not things that I have firsthand knowledge of in that regard. A little bit of selective editing, but it's okay because, you're trying to sell a show there.
Listen, they promised me a basket of fruit and cocktail shrimp.
Rubio continues.
I can't comment on the rest of the documentary. It has, as I said, claims from people that were former admirals, naval fighters, people with high clearances in government. Some of them are pretty spectacular claims. I'm not calling these people liars. I don't have independent knowledge that what they're saying is true. Mm-hmm. So we have people with very high jobs in the U.S. government that are either A, liars, B, crazy, or C, telling the truth. And 2 of those 3 options are not good.
Those
but
are
I
only
don't know
3
the
options.
answer. I don't know the answer. I don't have any point of, I don't want to call them liars. I just don't have any independent way to verify everything they said.
You're so close, Marco.
Yeah.
You're so close. They're either
liars
stupid,
and crazy.
liars, crazy, or I can't remember the last one, but I'm not accusing them of this.
Yeah, or the only maybe positive thing.
God, everyone is just dancing around the fact that everyone's insane.
The Disclosure Cinematic Universe.
If we're not going to trust politicians, intelligence, or military whistleblowers, or documentaries that feature them, then who? I'm personally drawn to firsthand accounts, especially if they're just average Joes, people with no agenda or connections, where we can learn about both weird phenomena and the human condition.
Yeah, I definitely would. I would trust a schizophrenic logger over any of these fuckers.
So, as promised earlier, I said I'd break down the UFO documentary landscape and also give some suggestions of films I actually like. So, the most prolific figure is, of course, Stephen Greer, former ER physician turned disclosure patriarch. His 2017 film, The Unacknowledged, was the highest-grossing documentary of that year. He pioneered the modern UFO doc business model, crowdfunding films that end with pitches for his Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind Contact app and $3,000 a head expeditions where you can summon aliens yourself, which is really like a friend of his firing a flare into the sky at night.
Uh-huh.
His films are they've been technically competent, but absolutely shameless. Then there's James Fox, and he's generally considered, more credible, maybe the most credible and mainstream UFO documentarian, and been at it since the 90s. So he did The Phenomenon in 2020 and then Moment of Contact in 2022, and focused on pretty well documented incidents with multiple witnesses, like the Ariel School case in Zimbabwe. And he's more restrained than Greer and avoids the most discredited of figures. But interestingly, Dan Farah of Age of Disclosure also produced The Phenomena before this documentary.
You know who should have been in this?
Who?
Terrence Howard. We would have the movie would have been better.
As a mathematician, yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Corbell is another major operator. So he's a contemporary artist, a black belt in his own martial art, which he calls quantum jujitsu.
Oh my God.
And he started making UFO docs after a bout of valley fever that left him unable to fight. He directed Patient 17, The Hunt for the Skinwalker, and Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. So I don't like dig the content, but he does try to do like something creative with the format and style. Like in the Bob Lazar doc, he has Mickey Rourke narrate poetry over most of the film, which you can't like totally almost unintelligible.
That's so awesome. He's like, I'll tell you something about these aliens. They're not going to be a non-binary. That's wrong.
When I was just starting out in this space, like, coming out with Love and Saucers, I didn't really know much about the documentary landscape. He actually like selflessly just helped my doc get press and like, hooked me up with a distributor. So I owe him that.
Kiss the ring.
And now for what I actually recommend is Mark Pilkington's Mirage Men from 2013. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
that's
great.
really good.
So, yeah, so that's based on a book of the same name, and it documents that whole Richard Doty operation I mentioned earlier, confirmed psychological operations that the Air Force ran against UFO researchers. And it's like one of the only actual skeptical UFO docs out there. It's like almost stands alone in that regard. Then there's Justin Gar's The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs, which is like a small, weird, lovely film about a single eccentric experiencer, Christopher Ropolo, who seems to be able to summon UFOs out of the sky on the California coast and plays like weird electronic music. So just focuses on this one guy's obsession and like what it means to him, which I dig. There's Witness of Another World by Argentinian director Alan Stievelman, which follows an indigenous man who had a close encounter as a child and has been sort of grappling with the effects of it ever since. And then lastly, there's a film called They're Here from Pacho Velez and Daniel Claridge, which I haven't seen yet. It was at Tribeca. It just sounds great because it's about like using UFOs as a way to study human perception and connection, etc. But because it's not, sensational enough or making any claims, it hasn't found any distribution.
That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You can literally find the Stan Romanek documentary on like streaming platforms.
Exactly. And then, of course, I'm going to mention my own documentary, Love and Saucers, about David Huggins, a man who claims to have lost his virginity to an alien named Crescent and paints about his experiences.
I cannot recommend it enough. I've watched it twice. Both
Thank
times
you.
were excellent. I recommend it to people all the time. And I also own an original David Huggins.
Yes, it's a lovely one too. So do you guys have any like UFO docs that you'd recommend that you like?
I mean, I would recommend Alien Autopsy, like 1 through 4. This was like, I think a DVD series you could order from the back of a catalog. From 1998 through I'm sure the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. If
Thanks,
anybody's got a
Jake.
copy of that, actually, you could send it to me.
Yeah.
I will recommend, and I want to cover this in the future because the guy is so crazy. But yeah, the Stan Romanek story. It's got so much going on. It's very funny and it's totally insane. And your jaw will drop. It's not useful to understand anything except like a man slowly
Psychology.
revealing his
Yeah.
own insanity. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, what was just sort of revealed today was this billboard in Times Square that you can see there, which is Spielberg's new film, which is about disclosure. Jake, will you describe the poster?
Yeah, now here's a chance to see some interesting aliens. It's on that big, they do the big corner ad now where, it's like on, it's like a right angle. It's a wrap LED screen, I guess, in Times Square. And it just looks like kind of, it's almost as if I'm peeking out through a hole in a garbage bag and there's an alien head looking in. A sort of your typical gray, except it has more human-like eyes with sort of amber irises and eyelashes and instead of just sort of
I think it just
black
looks like a
holes.
child's face.
I mean...
Oh, really? Interesting.
I don't see anything alien about it. Like this could just be an upside down child's face put through like a little filter that looks.
Oh yeah, it does kind of look when you turn it upside down.
Yeah, it looks vaguely like a bird. There's like the shape of a bird.
Oh yeah, there's a bird. Yeah, wait a minute. It is a shape of a bird. It looks like some kind of woodpecker.
I think if you're taking this shit too seriously, like you can get corrected for that by realizing that this corner ad is bookended on both sides by just a long red strip that says Hershey's store.
Yeah, it sort of takes the fun out of everything. But I'll go see this. I mean,
Oh, sure.
I really liked I liked Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Obviously, Tom Cruise picture.
That was so bad.
Well, I liked it.
Jake, you're turning into like Greg Turkington.
I mean,
yes,
I liked it. That doesn't necessarily mean it was good.
Spielberg is no longer hot.
You know what I didn't
washed
like
up.
that a lot of people did is that movie that came out recently on Hulu where it was a silent film about the girl who is protecting her house from the 3 aliens who sort of like come in. It's sort of like a reverse. It's sort of kind of like a Goldilocks story, but instead of 3 bears, it's 3 aliens. And I
Hadn't even heard of
really
it.
didn't like it. It's called like No One Can Hear You Scream. I don't know. It's some no one alone. I don't know. I don't know the names. It's talk to me. No one alone. No one can hear you. Nobody can scream. Everybody's yelling. You know, it's just the way they name movies nowadays. It's too unconventional. Where's Die Hard? You know, Die Soft. You know, you could do all sorts of variations on titles that we already like and we already know.
What the fuck is going on?
Back to the Spielberg film, there was like a Daily Mail article that said there may be actual extraterrestrials in his movie.
Oh, well, that's
I did see that as well.
Yeah.
Good PR angle.
Yeah.
They would choose Mr. Spielberg to be the one to have real aliens, just like he had real dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what the Daily Mail means by that is Jews.
All right, that's it, everyone.
Beautiful.
Wow,
Yeah.
this was a brilliant analysis of this movie. We're all in agreement. I don't think anybody here loved it or found it particularly interesting.
No, nothing about it.
No, but like, I feel like I'm going insane, but because for years now, people are like, oh, this movie's awesome for whatever new thing that comes out. And I watch it and I'm like, this sucks shit. Am I going crazy? People love really bad stuff. So this was so boring.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
fucking
because
boring.
people are just used to watching YouTube, and this is just like a kind of prettied up YouTube video.
Honestly, YouTube is more exciting than fucking
Yeah.
Netflix.
That's true.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the QAA podcast. If you are not yet a subscriber and you're not receiving the second episode for every main one that goes out for free because we're so kind and generous, well, you should go to patreon.com and let's be honest, it's paltry. The price hasn't changed in 7 years. It's $5. So just pay $5 a month to get a second episode and we will be eternally grateful for you. You know, maybe Jake will get a raise from like the $150 a month to $200 a month.
I certainly hope so. I've been
If you guys come through.
living on slime.
But no, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you, and we couldn't do this without you. So yeah, thank you to all of our subscribers who on main usually have to hear this pitch, even though they've already, they've already like joined the cult and pledged their allegiance to us. So we're very grateful.
Thank you. Very grateful to the tens of thousands of you. Crazy.
Exactly.
And I wanted to say I just finished Truly Traveling Deeply.
Oh,
and it's
yes.
so incredible like that. It's
Very
sort of like
good.
my homeschooling.
It was so good. Go to cursedmedia.net and binge the entirety of Truly Traveling Deeply and understand anti-feminism, the trad wife movement, and a variety of other things over the course of a very well-researched and deeply and respectfully treated subject. Really, really amazing. And you can also, of course, get Liv and Spencer's series, Science in Transition, which explores, the history of like the trans identity within the medical community, how it was understood, and you're going to find out a lot of weird perverts were involved with, let's say, experimenting on poor children. Anyways. It's really good. It's fascinating as well. Like, I'm just so grateful that we work with such intelligent people, and I can't recommend it enough. Cursedmedia.net. Go there and sign up. You help us continue to commission these shows and give them the attention and the production that they deserve. And also, I'm really glad to be back. So it's nice to, yell at you guys at the end of an episode.
Welcome back, Julian.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah. I
Love
missed
you.
you. It's been a while since I've been on a
No,
network
I always
here.
miss you. I was just talking to someone else like yesterday about like how nice of a guy you are and how like you just have like everybody, like you have so many friends, but you've never name dropped, you've never been pretentious, just a fucking great guy. So appreciate you, buddy.
No, thank you so much, Julian.
Also extremely talented filmmaker. Once again, go watch
Thanks.
Love and Saucers.
Thank you.
For everything else, we've got a website, qapodcast.com. And guess what, listener? Until next week, may the deep dish bless you and keep you.
We have auto-cued content based on your preferences.
Ultimately, it's going to have to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised, man, if it happens soon after the film comes out. I think a sitting president has to step to the microphone and say, definitively, humanity's not alone in the universe. We have recovered technology of non-human origin. So have other nations. There is a high-stakes secret Cold War race to reverse engineer this technology. We need to win this race, and the U.S. intends to lead in this new chapter.
Well, if that is going to happen, I think Trump might be the only guy that's willing to do something crazy.
I think it's very likely that he does that. I know that he is aware of the film. I know he's aware of what people in his administration say.
Has he watched it? You know that?
He has not watched the film, but I know he's very aware of it, and I know that they are discussing internally how they're going to react to the film publicly. And I also know that he has very recently, tasked Tulsi Gabbard with getting to the bottom of the situation and finding out for him what he needs to know that he doesn't know.